Good looking there, Lukey.
Yeah.
Into that. And Cody, by extended spread.
Basketball gets here and stuff here. Also, there was a second round.
Right. Wait.
Actually, I know what the half court shot right after
That was Corey. So you guys lost 4 times in Simon State.
Yeah, 24-5.
Simons was defeated of the Final Four.
Before show me about playing the
Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2. Check 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 1 2 1 2. Check check 1 2. You're a little bit low. From Bream Gymnasium on the campus of Gettysburg College, McDaniel basketball is on the air. Well, pleasant good evening, everyone. Tim Murray and Doug Raftery with you as we get set for some Centennial Conference playoff action. It is the play-in game, McDaniel and Gettysburg, as the Green Terror come in with a 14-11 mark, 9-9 in the Centennial Conference. Gettysburg 14-11, 10-8 in the Centennial Conference. So Gettysburg the 4 seed, McDaniel the 5 seed. The winner moves on to play Johns Hopkins on Friday night. Doug, familiar foes because they played just a couple days ago. The winner of that game right here at Bream Gymnasium got the honor of hosting this game, and that's why Gettysburg is here hosting this game, a 60-52 victor on Saturday afternoon.
And a tough one for McDaniel to swallow simply because of the up and down year that this squad has had. And in that game on Saturday, Tim Stewart was really the main story early on. Of course, he's been the offensive power, you could say, for the Green Terror this season. Picked up some early fouls, played only 18 minutes. That's something that cannot happen today. Again, on the road, a place McDaniel has not had the greatest success this season. But, Tim, these are two squads at the end of the year have gone completely different directions.
Yeah.
Gettysburg's won 3 in a row. McDaniel has flip-flopped that. They've dropped a trio in a row. This has been a season of runs and streaks
really
for the Green Terror.
It really has when you look at it. It's extremely odd when you look at it. And going back to that Haverford game on January 10th, that was a streak of 4 straight wins, then a streak of 4 straight losses, followed by 3 straight wins and 3 straight losses. So it's been an ebb and flow season for McDaniel, and you can just hope that let's get back on the winning side of things because winning 3 runs in a row now.
Yeah, I'd say so, and especially when you start looking at not only this game, but who's ahead in Johns Hopkins. But you have to try to take care of business here on the road first, and obviously not an easy place to win. Gettysburg going to be excited. They haven't hosted a playoff-type game here since 2008, and these are simply rivals right down the road from each other. They're going to be going at it today, and for Gettysburg, lucky for them, they have a guy named Kevin Gladstone who has shot extremely well from the floor as of late, 73% in his last 6 games, 18.2 points per game. He scored 17 on Saturday against McDaniel. He is troublesome for this McDaniel defense. It doesn't matter how good they are defensively. If they can shut him down to that 12 to 15-point range, I think you give yourselves a good shot to win this game.
McDaniel and Gettysburg tonight here from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Bream Gymnasium is the host, and Gettysburg comes into this game a pretty solid record here on their home court this season at 8-5, and as Doug already alluded to, McDaniel's had their road woes at just 3-9 on this season. When you look at this McDaniel team, and when teams are scouting them, yes, they have to worry about an Andrew Merlot, a Wes Brooks from long range, even a Nick Perugino. But Tim Stewart's clearly the guy they want to key in on. When you look at Gettysburg, Kevin Gladstone is their leading scorer at 13.4 points per game, Doug. But that being said, Gettysburg is the only team in the conference that has 4 players averaging in double figures.
Yeah, and it's, I guess you could almost say kind of surprising, Tim, simply because of the type of offense that they play. It's the Princeton offense, the slow-paced offense, but this is a squad that averages 66 points per game. They give up just 65 points per game, but you have Gladstone, you have Chris, you have Sean Gordon, and then, of course, Tanner Kirkpatrick as well. A lot of experience on this team. They shoot well. They shoot well from the free throw line. I think that's an important thing to point out there as well. 71% from the charity stripe. So they have a lot of different threats, and that wasn't a challenge for McDaniel at the Gill Center against this Gettysburg team, but on Saturday it certainly was.
Yeah, you look back to that victory that McDaniel had against Gettysburg back on January 21st, which was the fourth of then 4 straight victories for the Green Terror. And that was a game in which they were red hot from outside. Wes Brooks was able to hit 4 3-pointers in that game. And it's funny, when you look at both of the final scores, the 2 meetings this year, most recently, a Gettysburg 60-52 win. January 21st, it was a 59-50 McDaniel win over Gettysburg. Both those scores weren't really indicative of how the game played out because both games were dominated by the victor.
Yeah, and you don't expect that between these two teams, and you don't expect it because of the type of teams that these two squads are. A lot of tight games for the both of them. You're not going to have too many dominant performances. It just happened to be that's what happened in those respective dates. Of course, McDaniel pretty much didn't lead at all on Saturday against Gettysburg. Hoping to change that luck here tonight and have an opportunity to advance against Johns Hopkins.
Last year, McDaniel was able to win their first ever Centennial Conference playoff game. It was a conference first rounder. McDaniel last year was the 4-seed. Muhlenberg was the 5-seed. McDaniel won at 57-52. We'll see if they can carry that over to tonight. Another first-round matchup for the Green Terror, and now we are going to step aside for the national anthem. Once again, Gettysburg and McDaniel. Centennial Conference first-round action. Gettysburg, the home team, the 5-seed. McDaniel is the 4-seed. And actually, first, we're going to give you the starting lineup. So let's do that. First, we can always change up our plan. That's what we do. Of course. On the fly. We'll go opposite. They're going to introduce the home team starters here, but since this is our McDaniel broadcast, we'll give you the Gettysburg starters. First, Gettysburg at 14-11, 10-8 in Centennial Conference. Hit on. This is a team that has won 3 straight games, including a win over McDaniel on Saturday, 60-52. Alex Caslander, a freshman from Verona, New Jersey, a 6'4", 200-pound guard/forward. Sean Gordon, third in the Centennial Conference in assists at 4.7 assists per game. He's a senior, one of the leaders of this team from Broomall, Pennsylvania, 6'1", 185 pounds. Tanner Kirkpatrick, a sophomore, 6'7", 220 pounds from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. And Tanner Kirkpatrick is the 4th leading scorer. But once again, 4 players for this team average in double figures. And you look at this team from top to bottom. Tanner Kirkpatrick, the only player this year to start every single game for the Bullets. He's appeared in all 25 games, and he started all 25 games. Once again, the sophomore, 6'7", 220 pounds. Kevin Gladstone, their leading scorer, 6'6", junior, forward/center from Havertown, Pennsylvania, 13th in the Centennial Conference in scoring at 13th game. And then down low it will be Cameron Stewart, a freshman from Sydney, Australia, 6'4", 224 pounds. And Cameron Stewart on this season just making his 10th start and averaging 4.4 points per game. Their head coach is George Petrie in his 26th season as the head coach of the Bullets. Once again, the starting lineup for the Bullets: Caslander, Gordon, Kirkpatrick, Gladstone, and Stewart. For your McDaniel Green Terror, 14-11, 9-9 in Centennial Conference play. The number 5 seed wearing their road green uniforms tonight. They come in with a road record of 3-9 on the year. Junior guard Wes Brooks from North Wales, Pennsylvania, 5'11", 180 pounds, 5th leading scorer for the Green Terror, making his 23rd start of the season, and hopefully not playing his final game of his Green Terror career, 5'10", 175 pounds out of Rehoboth, Delaware. Cam Royster, Jr., 6'2", 200 pounds from Durwood, Maryland. Cam Royster has been great off the bench, but getting his 9th start of the season tonight, averaging 7.3 points per game. Phil Perry, the senior for the Green Terror on the season, and then Tim Stewart down low, the leading scorer for the Green Terror, averaging 15.6 points per game, also top 10 in rebound as he comes in averaging over 7 rebounds per game. So once again, the starting lineups: Brooks, Merlot, Royster, Perry, and Stewart. And now the national anthem here from Gettysburg. National anthem here from Bream Gymnasium, and we are set for the first round of the Centennial Conference playoffs. Gettysburg and McDaniel. McDaniel wearing their road green uniforms, white lettering across the chest, white numerals on the front and back. The Gettysburg Bullets in their home whites, the blue numerals on the front and back, Bullets spelled across the chest in orange lettering. So, Doug, a chance for revenge for this McDaniel team as these teams split the season series, but most recently it was a Gettysburg win on Saturday, 60-52.
And the key for the Green Terror, obviously, Tim Stewart staying out of foul trouble early, giving the ball to him early and often, and also having some threes in the first 5 to 7 minutes opens up the Gettysburg defense. Now, defensively for McDaniel, don't get antsy. Just play the shot clock deep into it. That's what Gettysburg likes to do.
Kirkpatrick and Stewart jump center. Opening tip controlled by Gettysburg. They'll work left to right from our vantage, but high atop here at Bream Gymnasium. And man-to-man defense here for the Green Terror. Skip pass over to the far side. Gladstone now has it left elbow. In the corner, Kirkpatrick dribble drive, brings it right back out, guarded by Cam Royster. Spins back towards the baseline, kicks to the near side corner, but an offensive foul down low is stepping over and taking the charge is Phil Perry.
Well, Perry, weak side help. Kirkpatrick ended up beating his player, his defender, but Perry stepping in on that baseline. Good body positioning and able to take it for the early personal. That's big on Kirkpatrick.
Team foul number 1 just underway here from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, outside the far side, Wes Brooks. Right wing into the corner, Cam Royster. Royster guarded closely by Cameron Stewart. Now inside Tim Stewart. Back out they go. Perimeter ball movement here. Cam Royster in the near side corner, 10 to shoot. Royster driving, puts up a floater in the paint, no foul called. Loose ball knocked out of bounds. They say last touch by Tim Stewart, and it will give the ball back to Gettysburg. 19:09 to go. Slow to get up, Tim Stewart and Cam Royster, but both retreat back on defense now.
Well, the type of game you're in, you'll get banged up a little bit, Tim, but you have to work through it. You see Tim Stewart holding a left back, but looks like he's all right.
Right wing back up top. They go to Casslander. Casslander works over to the left wing now. Leading scorer, Kevin Gladstone has it. Dribble handoff to Sean Gordon. Step inside the arc. Now back out Casslander. Left wing, 15 to shoot. Gordon dribble drive inside the arc. Brings it back out. Gladstone guarded by Tim Stewart, 10 to shoot. Gladstone drives, kicks to the corner. Stewart, three-pointer on the way. Front rim, no good. Rebound knocked around and controlled by Wes Brooks. Green Terror bringing it to the front court. It's Andrew Merlot off the Royster. Perry back to Royster outside the arc. 18:30 to go. First half, no score. McDaniel and Gettysburg. Stewart, right elbow, pump fake. Now brings it back out. Ball movement around the perimeter. Near side wing is Wes Brooks. Screen set up to his right, uses it. Brooks to the elbow. Jumper on the way, and it's good. McDaniel strikes first, 2-0. 18:15 to go first half.
Well, that comes because they were able to rebound on the defensive end. At a key point as well today. Just slapping out the ball, not necessarily grabbing it out of the sky, but just forcing somehow, some way that Gettysburg doesn't get offensive rebounds.
Gladstone inside, passes down to the near side block. Right side layup is good. Sean Gordon. So Gettysburg able to respond 2-2, 17:50 to go, first half.
Well, Gordon, last game, McDaniel last season, he went off for 17 to keep your eye on, although not the best of performances both times this year.
Perry hard to the basket, right side layup, no good. Rebound controlled by Tanner Kirkpatrick and the Bullets. Outlet pass up ahead. Cameron Stewart, left side layup, no good. Rebound, Andrew Merlot.
One you need to finish there if you're Cameron Stewart, slicing towards the left side block. Just put a bit too much on it.
In the corner, Phil Perry. Guarded to his left by Tanner Kirkpatrick. Perry may have gotten away with a walk there. Top of the arc. Now to Tim Stewart. Back up top, Westbrooks. 18 to shoot.
Going back to Stewart for a second. Cameron Stewart missing that left transition points. Not very common defense. That's why you need to hit those. 9 to shoot. Stewart outside double team. Bounces it to Merlot in the corner. Brings it back out. 4 to shoot. Merlot looks up. Puts up a three-pointer. It's good. A huge three. Clock expires. Daniel. Well, that's what I was talking about. You need a few to drop early, Tim. And if you're going to hit those kind, here's an offensive foul.
Running into the chest of Andrew Merlot as he runs over and gives some words of encouragement to his teammates on the bench. Is going right into his chest was Alex Casslander. The second offensive foul by Gettysburg so far tonight.
Merlot footing the deck there. Energetic guy. Of course, you mentioned he doesn't want this to be the last time he sees the floor, and you can tell early on in this one.
5 to 2. Royster kicks it to the corner near side up top. Westbrooks head fake inside the paint. Jumper up and good. A 5-0 run for the Green Terror as Westbrooks has 4 early points.
Well, how about that? A guy who doesn't really shoot many two-pointers. 2/3 of his shots from behind the arc. He's got 2 early twos.
Lob pass inside to Gladstone. Near side block. Spins on Stewart. Right side layup. No good. Rebound. Cam Royster.
That's what Tim Stewart needs to do. Play solid, clean defense. Can't pick up early fouls. That's why Gladstone had success last Saturday.
Ball moving around the perimeter far side. Outside the arc is Cam Royster. Bounces it to Stewart. Elbow jumper from the right side. No good. Front rim. Rebound Cameron Stewart and the Bullets.
Well, Tim Stewart, he'll take that most of the time. He'll hit it every once in a while, but you want him down a little bit closer, 8-9 feet away instead of that 15-footer.
Gladstone has it on the near side elbow, guarded by Tim Stewart. Gets it out to Casslander. Casslander picks up his dribble, works it back near side. Outside the arc, Tanner Kirkpatrick drives, dump down pass. Cameron Stewart, right side layup, no good, but a foul, as it looked like it was Cameron Royster coming over on the help side defense who will pick up that foul. So that'll be team foul number 2, I believe, against the Green Terror.
See Tanner Kirkpatrick, 4 minutes and change into this one, going over to the bench and grabbing some water, working hard down low in this one, and now for his teammate to get a point or two.
Cameron Stewart makes the first, just a 44% free throw shooter on the season. 15:35 to go first half, and Stewart, the Aussie, able to hit both. 7 to 4, and a quick update, just 1 team foul in the Green Terror, and that was on Cam Royster. 7 to 4 our score, under 15.5 to play, first half. Near side corner, Andrew Merlot bounces it into the block to Tim Stewart, who had the double team come and brings it back out. 4 out, 1 in offense for the Green Terror. Inside to go, Stewart, near side block, and he finishes with the right hand, 9 to 4.
He's so good at that. He gets it on one side of the court, doesn't happen. He slips out underneath the baseline, underneath the little mini pick, finds himself one-on-one, a baseline and a defender, and he takes it to the rack every single time.
Dribble drive here in the paint, no good. Offensive rebound tip in, as that was down low. Tanner Kirkpatrick making it 9 to 6 off the Alex Casslander miss.
That's another one of these teams, just pretty much like everybody who McDaniel sees this year, going to have the size advantage on you. And you have to play big even though you're small. They've done it a few times this year, but not consistently.
14.5 minutes to go, and a turnover is miscommunication there. Tim Stewart didn't see that pass coming. Into the front court as Casslander gets it into Gladstone down low. A baby hook, left hand, no good. Rebound, Cam Royster. McDaniel looking to run in transition. Westbrooks has it on the right wing. Now bounces it up top to Cam Royster. Andrew Merlot, left wing, screens it up to his right, splits the defense. Now kicks it to Royster on the far side wing. 14 minutes to go, first half. Entry pass, Tim Stewart on the block, brings it back out. Stewart, dribble drive, bounce pass along the near side, now out. Merlot, open for 3 on the wing, no good. Long, Rebound brought in by Gladstone.
Seemed like he flicked that one a little too strong right off the release point. You could see it was traveling a long time.
Kirkpatrick works to the middle of the floor off to Cameron Stewart outside the arc. Now near side wing is Sean Gordon, puts up a three-pointer, back rim, no good. Stewart with the board. 9-6 our score. McDaniel with that early advantage.
Gordon, the one who can hit from outside. He's 41.5% shooter from out there, the best on the team.
Dribble drive, hard to the basket, left side. Phil Perry gets the friendly roll. Using the right hand from the left side, makes it 11-15 to go first half.
This is what you like offensively if you're the Green Terror. They're able to mix it up right now. There's a lot of dribble drives, but there's some post-ups as well.
Near side corner three-pointer, that is no good. Rebound Westbrooks into the front court. Cam Royster slows it up on the right wing. Andrew Merlot. Screen set up to his left, works to the middle of the floor over to Phil Perry, loses it out of bounds.
Well, you'll have mass substitutions for both sides here for Gettysburg. Entering in, you have Reeves, 30-second timeout while I get to that. And then Emersabe going to check in as well. Saw Jack Ratchett come into the game, it looked like, for McDaniel. Dwayne Eccles was going to come onto the floor and a couple others as well. So we'll see coming out Nick Martin, possibility in that 5 coming out of this 30-second timeout called by McDaniel.
12:45 to go, opening half between McDaniel and Gettysburg. It's 11-6. Give you those lineups once again. It's Andrew Merlot, Dwayne Eccles, Nick Martin, Nick Perugino, and Jack Rock. Merlot remains the only guy out there in the starting lineup as Malaju Reeves into the game for Gettysburg. The big man down low, 6'8", 235 pounds from Washington, D.C. And also, as Doug, you mentioned, Joe Emersabe also checks in, a high school teammate of Cam Royster.
Yeah, my apologies, mispronunciation there, Rocket. He's given some pretty good minutes when he's been in games recently.
Kirkpatrick drives outside the lane, no good. Rebound, Perugino. 12.5 to go first half. McDaniel owning that 5-point lead. Ball moving around the perimeter. Now we'll see what McDaniel does against this matchup zone for Gettysburg.
Reminds you of Johns Hopkins
It
last
does.
time we were at the Gill Center, doesn't it?
Rocket dips down, back out Nick Martin. So real no presence inside. We'll see what McDaniel can do to counter it as Perugino outside the arc near side picks up his dribble. 8 to shoot, Nick Martin. Head fake, dribble, contact. We're going to get an offensive foul. And once again, Nick Martin goes hard to the floor, flex his right wrist a bit. Nick Martin has been hampered with some injuries this season, as that is his first, team's second. And that'll give the ball back to Gettysburg with 11:58 to go first half. And now back into the game after just a brief break, Kevin Gladstone.
And Kirkpatrick to the bench, probably for a brief break, the way George Petrie uses those guys. But for McDaniel, they struggled against Hopkins in that matchup zone, cutting off and almost forcing towards the baseline. They couldn't quite figure it out. Wonder if it'll be a challenge here tonight.
Malaju Reeves to the elbow. Now gets it off to Casslander. Right side layup, no good. And Rocket with a big rebound. Good job down low as Pete Christ almost brought in that offensive rebound for the Bullets. Merlot over to Dwayne Eccles in the corner. Under 11.5 to play. 11-6 is our score. McDaniel with that 5-point advantage. Eccles on the wing. Drives to the basket. Puts up a shot. And we have another offensive foul as Alex Casslander holding his position. And what is that? 4 or 5 charges so far. 4 charges so far in this game.
And Gettysburg going to try to take advantage here offensively. It's been a cold start for the Bullets. Just 3 of 11 fine. So this is really not an offensive showing as of yet. But I don't think either team really expected it to be either.
Malaju Reeves down low. Back out to Chris. 3-pointer, deep 3 at that. No good. Dwayne Eccles with the rebound. Eccles will bring it up near sideline to Nick Martin. Pocket, Perugino working back to the near side. McDaniel working right to left in this opening half under 11 minutes to play. Perugino into the corner, Nick Martin. Martin, the man set up to his left, gets it to Rocket on the elbow. Back up top, Merlot. Merlot driving, trying to split the defense. Right side layup is good. So knifing his way through a number of Bullet defenders. and gives McDaniel their largest lead of the game, 13-6, a 7-point advantage.
Merlot with the team high five.
And now a turnover as Gettysburg tries to feed the ball inside to Melaju Reeves. It goes off his fingertips and out of bounds.
Here comes Wes Brooks. Pretty much a straight sub for Merlot there of what they both provide. And Merlot can penetrate a bit more, but against that matchup zone, that's what you need to do. You need to find the center of the court, Tim. You don't want to find yourselves in the high rights or the high lefts.
Under 10:20 to go, first half, 7-point lead for McDaniel. Nick Perugino, top of the arc, loses it for a moment, but has it. Nick Martin, left wing, screen set up to his right. And we get a blocking foul against Pete Christ. That'll be team foul number 3, his first. And make the ball on the near sideline here. And Nick Perugino to inbound. Jack Rocket, Dwayne Eccles, Nick Martin, Wes Brooks, and Nick Perugino out on the floor for the Green Terror. Road green uniforms this evening. Centennial Conference first-round matchup. Second straight year McDaniel is in this game.
It's great to have the experience of last year and winning that play-in game.
Perugino, three-pointer, no good. Jack Rocket able to get the offensive rebound.
Between two guys, 1v2 there, and Rocket wins the battle.
Sparingly minutes, I should say, this year for Rocket, but when he gets in, is able to give him some good defense or some offense. Not a big offensive threat. Martin back out into the corner. Eccles, and he's going to be called for a travel. 9:31 to go, and back into the game. Tanner Kirkpatrick for the Bullets. As he'll check in for Melaju Reeves. Tim Stewart for the Green Terror. Jack Rocket to the bench.
Now, Tim, you see we sit at 13-6, and we're more than halfway through this first half. These two teams I mentioned, you're not going to expect them high scoring. Well, McDaniel, 10th in the Centennial in points per game at 62.5. Gettysburg, 6th. So two teams in the bottom half of the Centennial in the regular season.
Emersave outside the arc, drives hard to the bucket, loses it on the way there, but we're going to get a foul from behind. That'll be on Dwayne Eccles. That'll be his second.
Well, 15 team foul on McDaniel. Keep an eye on that. Mentioned in the pregame show, the Gettysburg team shoots pretty well from the free 0.5% this season from the charity stripe.
Sean Gordon inbounds right of his own basket, gets it to Pete Christ. Christ, Emersave now, well outside, just a couple steps off from the timeline. Now into the far side corner is Sean Gordon. Three-pointer on the way, and it's good. A big hit for the senior, Sean Gordon, 13-9.
He'll pull the trigger. 129 threes attempted now this year, rather 130 for Gordon. He'll shoot.
Bounce pass inside to Tim Stewart. Feels the double team coming. Skips over to the far side. Perugino, three-pointer from the wing. In and out, no good. Rebound, Christ for the Gettysburg Bullets. Outlet pass up ahead. And we get a collision between Cam Royster and Wes Brooks. Ball's deflected out of bounds. And as last touch by the Green Terror. Phil Perry back into the game for McDaniel as he checks in for Nick Perugino. And also Matt England comes into the game for Gettysburg.
Cam Royster tipping that one out of bounds. I think Wes Brooks, who was backpedaling, eyes on the ball the whole time, I think he might have picked that off if Royster didn't slap it out. But nonetheless, good.
Stone, top of the arc, trying to make a move on the dribble. Instead, kicks it to the corner to England. Now they get it off to Kirkpatrick. Top of the arc, Gladstone. Works it to the elbow, far side. Inside they go to Kirkpatrick, and Phil Perry able to knock the ball out of bounds. 10 to shoot. 8:11 on the game clock, first half.
Phil Perry trying to persuade the officiating crew that went off of Kirkpatrick. Nothing doing there.
The inbound is Sean Gordon on the sideline. 8 to shoot here. They work it to the near side to Matt England. England up to Gladstone. To Gordon. Gordon pulls the trigger, top of the arc. Back rim, no good. Offensive rebound, though, by Chris. Fresh 35 seconds. Gladstone inside into the corner. Tanner Kirkpatrick, guarded by Phil Perry, hard to the basket. Now finds a cutting Matt England who can't finish.
Princeton offense right there by the book. Guy cutting on through the lane. Wide open after a double team on the baseline.
Martin, three-pointer, that's long. Rebound, Tanner Kirkpatrick. Sean Gordon, hand off to Pete Christ, middle of the floor. Back to Matt England. Gladstone, back over far side, Sean Gordon. Inside Gladstone, and he's fouled. And I believe we're going to get 2 shots here for Kevin Gladstone. as the foul will go against Nick Martin, and that'll be Martin's second, team's fifth foul. So Kevin Gladstone to the free throw line. Leading scorer for Gettysburg this season, and a shooter at 82%. And he nails the first one. Andrew Merlot comes back in. 7:19 to go first half. Cameron Stewart checks back into the game here for the Bullets.
It's a place Gettysburg hoping to get more often tonight. Gladstone coming over and pointing to his arm. Maybe
He's got some blood. Yeah, they're cleaning it up quickly. As looks like he had a bit of a cut open up on the back of his arm, that tricep area. As the athletic trainer comes over and wipes it up, it looked like he had a nice little stream going down his arm. We'll have to patch that one up quickly. It's 7:19 to go. One more free throw to come.
Well, mentioning Gettysburg having to get to the free throw line more. Now you see the low-scoring game, and then you probably expected this, mentioned two low-scoring teams, but what you don't expect, if you're a fan of the Centennial in general, is how Gettysburg shooting in this game. 3 of 15 from the floor. This is a team that shoots 47% as a squad. So this is uncharacteristic. If you're the Green Terror, you need to take advantage. Just a small cushion of 3 isn't doing it right now.
One more free throw to come. In and out, no good. Rebound, Tim Stewart. As back into the game, as he never left, was Gladstone, but has that tape on his left arm now. Royster goes hard to the elbow. Now off to Westbrooks. Almost loses it out of bounds. McDaniel struggling a bit against this matchup zone. Merlot, middle of the floor, hard to the basket. Right side layup, no good. Went with the reverse a little bit, up and under, and missed from the right side.
You know, they started to figure it out against Hopkins at the end of that first half. Then the second half, Hopkins just really couldn't miss, quite frankly. You know, we're talking about a week-ish ago, but it's more high picks. You need high picks to roll around and create off the dribble rather than
shoot here for Gettysburg. Topstone, dribble handoff, Sean Gordon. Elbow far side, now kicks to the corner. Three-pointer on the way, back rim, no good. Rebound, Cam Royster. That three-point attempt from Cameron Stewart. 3-point lead for McDaniel. It's lead for Gettysburg. Bounce pass inside to Tim Stewart on the far side. Block goes along the baseline. Double team back out to Merlot. Merlot dribble drive goes to the right side with the scoop shot. Rebound brought in by Gettysburg. Sean Gordon brings it in. Now a three-pointer top of the arc. Matt England in and out, no good. Westbrooks with the rebound.
It's not falling for Gettysburg. And over the 3-game winning streak, Tim, they shot at least 50 field every single game. They shot 64% in the win against Franklin and Marshall. This is not going well for Gettysburg.
Stewart free throw line jumper down. Pete Christ.
Should I say either team as of now?
Sean Gordon, yeah, McDaniel in a bit of a dry spell right now as they work the ball into the corner. Christ works off a screen to his left, lobs it inside to Gladstone. Right side layup, no good. Was altered by Wes Brooks. Brooks tried to bring in the rebound and wasn't able to secure it. Goes out of bounds. And last touch by the Green Terror. Substitutions in for Gettysburg. Alex Caslander, Tanner Kirkpatrick re-enter. And Tim Stewart will head to the bench now as Jack Rocket will now have the tall task of guarding one of the
5.5 minute drought for the Green Terror.
Score on top of the arc. Step inside the perimeter now. Works at near side Cameron Stewart. Guarded by Phil Perry. Stewart driving. Finds his way through a host of defenders. Finishes with the left hand right in front of the basket. Cuts the deficit down to 1. It's a Gettysburg as they trail 13-12. 4:50 to go, first half. Royster. Royster to the elbow. Works it into the Merlot's hands. Merlot has a screen set up to his right. Instead, it splits the defense. Now a pass to no one as this one goes out of bounds. Trying to save it was Andrew Merlot. And a timeout's going to be called by Coach Curley. And Coach Curley just yells at Wes Brooks, settle down, as it is 13-12. Gettysburg a chance to take the lead for the first time tonight on this possession.
Yeah, unforced turnovers are not going to be your friend if you're the Green Terror. You cannot afford to just throw the ball away and expect to come out of this thing with a win. I mean, it's as easy as that, Tim. You rarely see it from the Green Terror. Usually a pretty clean squad and a guy who handles the ball like Brooks. It's a chuck it away. Him, Merlot, Perugino. This is a team that takes care of the ball pretty well. So a rarity, yes, but one if you're Coach Curley, you just can't become comfortable with.
4:33 to go first half. This is the Centennial Conference first round, 5 versus 4. Winner moves on to play Friday night in Baltimore against Johns Hopkins, the number 1 seed, the 2 and 3 seed. Dickinson and Franklin and Marshall will meet at 6 p.m. The nightcap will be the number 1 seed Hopkins versus the winner of this game. Gettysburg ball knocked away initially and stolen now. Outlet pass up ahead. Andrew Merlot all by his lonesome. Right side layup is good, and that cuts the drought as McDaniel able to push their lead out to 3, 15-12.
Nearly half for Merlot. He's got seen for the Green Terror.
Tanner Kirkpatrick between the circles works it over into the hands of Casslander. Gladstone driving hard to the basket. Left side layup is good, and Gladstone just lowered his head right there using the left hand, making it 15-14. 1-point game once again.
You need that, though. I said, if you hold them to 12 or 15, you'll be in okay shape. His first points of this one from the field.
1 free throw, 1 for 2 prior to that field goal made right there. Rocket gets it off to Merlot. Merlot driving inside the paint, now off to Royster. Royster in the paint as well. Back out Westbrooks. 10 to shoot, 3.5 minutes to play first half. Rocket inside, 5 to shoot. Back out to Royster. Royster fakes a shot, goes up tough through a host of defenders, but a nice offensive rebound, Jack Rocket.
Let's do fake shot clock countdown. That worked at a D1 game.
CU, it worked to perfection. Needed to go the replay to make sure everything was correct.
Hold the refs.
Phil Perry, far side off a screen to his left, and we're going to get a foul as it was Cameron Stewart lowering his shoulder through the Jack Rocket screen, and that'll be team foul number 4 against the Bullets. And Jack Rocket, some more quality minutes for him as he heads to the bench. Tim Stewart back in, 3:06 to play first half. 1-point lead for McDaniel, 15-14. Joe Emersabe back in for Gettysburg.
About the 2 key guys in this game. Stewart with a pair of points, and then you have 3 points for Gladstone.
2 players who very well could be first-team selections when that comes out next week for the Centennial Conference. Westbrooks on the wing, works the middle of the floor, off the Royster. Andrew Merlot, far side wing. Alex Casslander to his left, splits the defense. Now over to Cameron Royster. 13 to shoot. Phil Perry in the near side corner. Stewart down low. Baby hook in the paint, in and out again. Unfortunate roll there for the Green Terror as Gettysburg gets the rebound. Casslander, right wing, now to Gladstone on the elbow. Back out to Sean Gordon. Gordon driving up and under, and no good. Ugly layup there from Sean Gordon.
What was that? I'm not sure, but
Westbrooks into the front court here. Phil Perry, right wing. Westbrooks now into the corner to Andrew Merlot. Merlot working middle of the floor, bounces it in to Tim Stewart with 2 minutes to go first half. 1-point lead for the Green Terror. Into the corner. Now up top, Phil Perry, hard to the basket. Right side layup, no good. Ball almost knocked out of bounds, but Joe Emersabe able to save it into Sean Gordon's hands, who works it quickly into the front court.
This is the Green Terror, 2 of 11 from the field since the matchup zone was implemented by Gettysburg.
Gladstone down low with a mismatch. It was Andrew Merlot guarding Gladstone. He took advantage, finishing with the right hand.
Gettysburg has the lead. Tim.
For the first time tonight, Andrew Merlot works the middle of the floor. Now out Phil Perry. Cam Royster up top. 1-point lead for Gettysburg, 16-15. McDaniel led once upon a time 13-6. And now Tim Stewart up top, all alone. They leave him by himself. Hard to the basket. Now bits it back out. 4 out, 1 in. Look here for the Green Terror. 5 to shoot. Merlot drives in the paint. Head fake. Right side layup. No good. Rebound brought in by Casslander. Sean Gordon gets it to Kirkpatrick. Over to Emersabe. All alone for 3. And he buries it. 19-15, Joe Emersabe, the senior, giving Gettysburg a 4-point lead.
You knew they were going to start dropping sooner or later. Just 1 of 8 as a team before that 3 by Emersabe. Gettysburg starting to heat up a little bit.
Royster looking to try to get it inside, can't do so. A 13-second differential game and shot clock here. 25 seconds on the game clock. Now 10 on the shot clock. And we're going to get a foul. Wes Brooks being guarded very closely by Sean Gordon. So that will turn the shot clock off. 21.9 seconds to play first half. Nick Martin checks back into the game for Wes Brooks. So out on the floor for what could be a final shot of the half. Phil Perry, Nick Martin, Cam Royster, Andrew Merlo, and Tim Stewart. Ball thrown back into the backcourt as 20 seconds continues to tick down. 19-15, Gettysburg currently on a 13-2 run. 10 seconds to go. Nick Martin gets it, works it to the center court logo. Martin driving off the Merlo. Three-pointer right wing, back rim, no good. Emersabe gets the rebound. Three-quarters court heave, no good. And that's going to do it for the first half of basketball here from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And after a quick start for the Green Terror, they find them by 4 at the break, 19-15.
Just what we expected, right, Tim? That 19-15 game at the half. 60-52 last time. This is a little bit more different, that's for sure. But for the Green Terror, this isn't good. 3-7 this year when trailing at the half. It's not a recipe for success. This is not a team that's built to come out of a hole. It doesn't matter if it's a 4-point hole or if it's a 10-point hole. This is going to be a challenge, and they didn't take the game over when they had the opportunity to take the game over. Got to change that.
Yeah, that was the big miss for the Green Terror because Gettysburg just could not find a bucket from outside, really couldn't find a bucket from anywhere and early on in that first half, and the Green Terror just could not take advantage, and it ends up being a Gettysburg 13-2 run to end the half.
Yeah, they started 5 of 9 from the field, and then they finished with 2 field goals after that matchup zone went into place by Gettysburg. They did not score. They scored 1 basket, Tim, 1 basket since the 10:40 mark remaining in this half. It's just not going to get done.
Once again, your halftime score here from Bream Gymnasium in the Centennial Conference. First round, Gettysburg 19, McDaniel 15. We'll step aside, and when we come back in about 10 minutes or so, we'll give you a full breakdown of the first half stat sheet and get you set for the second half of basketball. Once again, Gettysburg 19, McDaniel 15. You're listening to the Centennial Conference. First round of the playoffs here on McDanielAthletics.com. Welcome back to Bream Gymnasium here on the campus of Gettysburg College. First round, the Centennial Conference playoffs. The Bullets of Gettysburg own a 19-15 lead over the McDaniel Green pair. Alongside Doug Raftery, Tim Murray back with you, and now it's the time to take a look inside that first half box score, which, Doug, most of box scores you're ever going to be handed.
No, that's for sure. News for the Green Terror. A little harsh on them coming into halftime. They're down by 4. All right, I mean, it's a road game. It's the playoffs. It's expected to be a tough road. Shot 7 of 22 from the field, 32%. Just one of them. Remember, Merlot had that early 3 hand in the face, tough shot. Nothing has fallen since. He's 1 of 3. Perugino for 2, and Martin. A team in McDaniel, just 5 turnovers, 16 rebounds, even with Gettysburg there. The Bullets just 30.5% from the floor. So Green Terror, they were 7 of 23. The Green Terror 7 of 22. Gettysburg 2 of 9 from behind the arc, led by the 5 points of Gladstone and Sean Gordon. So 10 of the 19 from those pair. The Green Terror led by the 7 points of Andrew Merlot, by the way. 3 of 4 from the free throw line. All the free throws attempted today from Gettysburg. Taking a little deeper, 10 points for each team in the paint. 4 points off of turnovers for McDaniel and none for Gettysburg. 4 second chance points for the Bullets to none for McDaniel. 2 fast break points for the Green Terror, none for Gettysburg. No bench points today for McDaniel. Well, the big thing here is that in that game against Johns Hopkins, in which the Blue Jays were able to pull away, that matchup zone problems for the Green Terror. And once again, Gettysburg goes to the matchup zone, and McDaniel struggles mightily. So what, Doug, can they do to try to figure it out? It seemed that, but then they got complacent also at times, just kind of working the ball around the perimeter, not looking to be aggressive. Yeah, you can't do that. You rush yourself. Again, 5 of 9 to start the game, 2 of 13 after they switched to the matchup zone. Thought McDaniel had the most success when they kept the ball in the middle of the floor, or they set high picks, they rolled around, and then they went quickly to the basket. It wasn't a high pick, kick it back out. It's the slicing into the lane. You're going to have to attempt some tough shots, but 5 feet away from the basket opportunity. You can't, once you get into the paint, you can't kick it back out, because then you're going to find yourself in trouble shot clock-wise.
20 minutes up on the board. McDaniel will start the ball with possession. They'll work left to right here in the second half, as it is the same starting 5 that began the game for the Green Terror. In Westbrook's Andrew Merlot, Cam Royster, Phil Perry, and Tim Stewart. Westbrook's into the corner, Phil Perry. Right wing. Looks inside. 15 to shoot. Phil Perry again. Over to Andrew Merlot. Bounces it to Tim Stewart on the right hand.
Well, you knew that was emphasis, as well as Tim Stewart, just 1 of 4 from the field for 2 points in the first half. They need to get him going.
Sean Gordon outside. Now gets it over to Alex Katzlander. Back up to Cameron Stewart, who dribble drives hard to the basket, steps through, puts up a wild shot, no good, but they're going to get a foul. I believe it'll be on Phil Perry. So the Australian and Cameron Stewart will head to the free throw line for 2. Cameron Stewart, a 44% free throw shooter, but 2 for 2 today. First one on the way and good.
He's got 5 points out of the 20 now for Gettysburg.
20-17 our score. Gettysburg out in front by 3. Ended the first half on a 13-2 run, and both free throws are good for Cameron Stewart. 21-17, 4-point lead for Gettysburg. Just underway second half, 19:05 and rolling. Perry works in the middle of the floor, back out Westbrooks. Andrew Merlot, far side corner. Bounces it to Tim Stewart. Gets it Stewart. Merlot, three-pointer from the wing, rattles it home. A big three-pointer from Andrew Merlot to 20. McDaniel down 1, 18:45 to go second half.
Second one of the game for Merlot and the team for McDaniel. Again, an early three-pointer in this half. Let's see if the momentum can continue from outside.
Gladstone to Sean Gordon. Entry pass to Kirkpatrick down low on the far side block. Now brings it back out after he couldn't get much going as a double team came for McDaniel. 8 to shoot. Cameron Stewart up top to Gladstone. Gladstone, jumper on the way, an 18-footer, nothing but net for Gladstone at 3 to 20.
A stop and pop there for Gladstone, and you wonder over the last 6 games how he's been shooting nearly 75%. Well, that's why, because he can have success from all over the court.
Royster in the near side corner, bounce. Gladstone's team foul number 1 against the Bullets. And for Gladstone, his first foul. Phil Perry will inbound left of the McDaniel basket. 17:56 to go, second half. Entry pass to Tim Stewart. Westbrook side spins towards the baseline. Can't rebound into the hands of Gladstone. Head left side layup from Kirkpatrick, no good. And a strong rebound from Andrew Merlot.
Smallest guy on the court, maybe other than Wes Brooks, coming away with it, snatching it out of midair there, Merlot.
Right wing, Phil Perry. Screen set up to his left by Tim Stewart. Far side corner, Cameron shoot. Once again, that matchup still calls it for the Green Terror.
Well, for Cam, you need to try to avoid picking up your dribble there. It's a tough spot, mid-lane, left side. You team, you're forced out of place you wanted to go. Eyes up, and then you drag the foot.
All passed into the corner. Three-pointer on the way. Front rim, no good. That one from out rebound, Phil Perry. Tim Stewart has the ball. Knifing his way through the paint, no good with the left side layup. Rebound Gettysburg and looking to run. Sean Gordon bounces a pass out to Tanner Kirkpatrick. And now Gettysburg will slow things up. Skip pass over, near side Gordon, and a foul down low as Gladstone trying to come from the far side to the near side of the paint and was held up by Phil Perry.
Yeah, Phil Perry, that would be a holding call in football, a 10-yard penalty. Just grabbed onto the jersey and twisted him a bit. Second one on Phil.
Also, second team foul, 16:45 to go. Second half. Inbounds pass, Tanner Kirkpatrick. Now up to Sean Gordon. Gordon to Gladstone. Baseline jumper on the way, no good, but an offensive rebound by newly inserted Pete Christ. Gordon, that pass down low to layup, no good. Ball tipped out. Gordon jumper, no good. Right elbow, rebound Stewart. That one was tipped by Wes Brooks, and Stewart was able to bring it in.
How about Merlot? 2 trips now in a row. One, he gets a big rebound. The next, Gladstone, looked like he had an open channel there, but Merlot challenged just a little bit. Got the arms up there by Gladstone on the block.
Stewart has it, turns and faces a step off the block, guarded by Gladstone. Double team comes, Phil Perry now out to Merlot, near side corner. 8 to shoot. Merlot steps inside the arc, puts up a jumper along the baseline, no good. Phil Perry tips it out, but into the hands of Sean Gordon of Gettysburg. To go, and now a timeout called by head coach George Petrie. It'll be a full timeout for the Bullets. 15:49 to go, second half. Gettysburg leading McDaniel 23-20. McDaniel has so far outscored Gettysburg early on in this half, 5-4.
Gettysburg looking to get this win again, first time since 2010 it would be, against Washington in the semifinals of the Centennial Conference playoffs, that they win in conference tournament plays. So it's been for the Bullets here for the first time since 2008 in a conference tournament game. So this is something that means a lot to them. While the Green Terror, I mean, before last year in that win in the first round playing game against Muhlenberg, they had quite a drought themselves.
They had never won a Centennial Conference playoff game. And yeah, just to quickly correct you, 2008 was actually an NCAA tournament game.
Right.
2007 was the last time they won a playoff game, and yours truly was sitting on the bench as Gettysburg beat Muhlenberg in the first round back in 2007. Gettysburg went on to win the championship in 2009, if my memory serves me correctly, beating Franklin Marshall on their home floor.
You know, and who knows what can happen this year. I had an opportunity to hang out with a couple other broadcasters and the commish of the Centennial, and talking about who could win it, who cannot, and I think everyone, Johns Hopkins, saying, this team beat this team and this team beat this team. You just never know on any given night. Get the Green Terror being two then top 10 teams this year.
It'll be interesting to see NCAA tournament bracket released on Monday. Who will be in, who will be out from the conference. It's a beautiful backdoor and a finish from Pete Christ. And right there, the Princeton offense working to perfection.
Sure was. Tanner Kirkpatrick, give him the assign there.
Dwayne Eccles checks into the game. Tim Stewart has the ball down low, spins towards the baseline, had some daylight, but loses it out of bounds. 25-20, Gettysburg with that 5-point lead, and now Coach Curley wants a full timeout to talk things over. 15-14, Gettysburg leading by 5, 25-20.
You can see they're trying to get it into the hands of number 24 a lot more. And Stewart, he did have daylight. You're right, Tim. He had the baseline to drive, but just dribbled it off that left. Coach Curley, you can see him in the huddle. 2 arms up towards his chest, lowering them towards his waist, saying, guys, calm down. We'll be okay. A little bit of encouragement to this team offensively, I'm sure. It's got to be frustrating to know the type of games you put up this year, Tim, where you've scored a decent amount of points, and now 52 on Saturday against Gettysburg. Now you sit here at 20 with 15-14 to go in this game.
Yeah, just think back not too long ago, Dickinson, McDaniel was putting up 78 points in that upset victory over then number 9, Dickinson, 78-73. Ball back in play after a 30-second timeout by the Green Terror, and we have a foul on the floor, as I believe it will be against Dwayne Eccles down low, as hitting a three-pointer, but after the whistle was Pete Christ. The ball will be inbounded left of their own basket, and it is on Eccles, his third, team third. Inbounding is Sean Gordon. Gets it to Christ, hard to the basket, and falling asleep there for a moment was Andrew Merlo.
Well, that's surprising with the type of game he's played. You see Nick borrowing quickly to the scorer's table. You wonder who he's going to take out.
Yeah, surprise there. He just fell right asleep. And a wide open layup for Christ. Brooks, three-pointer on the way. Top of the arc, and it's good. A huge three-pointer. Deficit down to 4, 27-23.
2 for 2 from behind the arc. 1 for Merlot, 1 for Brooks in his half. Will that open things up?
Christ, bounce pass inside to Gladstone. Tough shot, and he's able to finish as Pete Christ comes in off the bench. That's 4 straight points, and now gets an assist. Beautiful pass, splitting the defense.
Gladstone, he has 9 in this game, starting to heat up.
Royster, right wing into the corner. Merlot. They want to get the entry pass into Stewart. Do this time, and Stewart strong on the block. 29-25. McDaniel down 4. 14 minutes to go, second half.
That's all season long and preseason weight room.
Down low, we've got a block, it looks like, as Eccles stepped over, and they are going to get him for a block. So that'll be the 4th foul on Dwayne Eccles, as there's an entry pass into Kevin Gladstone. And substitutions into the game, Nick Martin and Nick Perez. Dwayne Eccles is going to stay out there with those 4 fouls.
Wow.
13:58 to go, second half. Rolling the dice a bit.
Sure is.
Coach Curley.
Well, Eccles hasn't played many minutes tonight. Picked up a lot of those fouls pretty quick.
Right wing Pete Christ, top of the arc. Gladstone, three-pointer, no good. And Eccles, a good box out and rebound. And now Eccles gets the pass from Westbrooks, brings it into the front court. Middle of the floor, Eccles. Hard to the basket, left side layup, no good. Off the side of the backboard, out of control. Eccles unable to finish. Now Kirkpatrick drives to the basket, left side layup, no good. Couple good looks, but no one finishing on either end.
Gettysburg still shooting worse than 20% in this game.
Westbrooks right wing to Perugino in the corner. Stewart trying to post up down low, and a pass unable to get it is Stewart. Perugino, lazy pass there. Taken away by Gettysburg.
Perugino thought he was going to try to post up in the high posts. Stewart thought he was setting a pick.
Kirkpatrick up top, he goes deep three. Christ, it's good. Pete Chris has found another level here in the second half, and now a timeout is called by Gettysburg. 32-25. Pete Chris to step off the arc, nails that three to make it 32-25 with 12:51 to go. Interesting timeout decision here by Gettysburg, calling a full timeout after a three when it feels like this game is rolling their way, but I guess they just want to shore things up defensively. 12:51 to go.
7 points for Chris. And if he starts hitting from outside and Gettysburg starts hitting from outside, that, of course, is bad news for the Green Terror, Tim. But this is now turning into a game where you're not going to expect Gettysburg to break away simply because of the inconsistencies they've had. For the Green Terror, you need to start getting something offensively, and it's just not consistent on their end either.
Pete Chris coming off the bench tonight. He's the second leading scorer for the Bullets this season and a very strong three-point shooter at 41% on the year, and he nailed that three from deep beyond. Pete Chris has come in and really played terrifically here in the second half for Gettysburg as they own that 7-point lead, 32-25. Full timeout was called, and the teams break their respective huddles. Nick Martin, Dwayne Eccles, Wes Brooks, Tim Stewart, Nick Perugino. Cam Royster runs to the scorer's table, and we'll take out, or we'll actually have to check in. We'll see if the refs will let him in. No, they're not going to let him in. They're going to keep him at the scorer's table. 12:51 to go after that three-pointer from Pete Chris. A 7-point advantage for the Bullets here in the first round of the Centennial Conference playoffs. Dwayne Eccles, left wing. Works in the middle of the floor now to Wes Brooks. Wes Brooks outside the arc. He has a screen now set up to his left. Uses it. Over to Perugino. Quick ball movement to Eccles, 15 to shoot. Back to Nick Martin in the far side corner. Tim Stewart, double team comes, and Stewart is fouled as he tries to work from the far side elbow to the near side across the paint, and it looked like his arm was grabbed. Cam Royster will check in for Dwayne Eccles.
Tim, I tell you, it's for McDaniel. Against the matchup zone, it's become so routine. Every single time down the floor, you know what they're going to run. There's a high pick. They're rolling around the same side. They're not going around the other side of the pick, trying to beat them baseline.
Stewart elbow jumper, and it rattles home. Big hit for Tim Stewart, cutting the deficit down to 5, 32-27.
Well, that's where you might have your success for the rest of this game on plays like that. Inbounds off the baseline underneath the basket.
Backdoor Chris to the basket, and he's fouled as they gave it off to Gladstone on the elbow, and almost rubbing shoulders was Chris, and going hard to the basket. Chris will head to the free throw line.
Well, things have started to get going offensively for both sides, I suppose, after, by the way, the lowest scoring total in Centennial Conference playoff history in a half, 34 total points.
It wasn't the prettiest half of basketball, certainly, as Joe Emersabe comes into the game for Gettysburg, joining Tanner Kirkpatrick, Kevin Christ, and Sean Christ hits both free throws, 34-27. That 7-point lead back for Gettysburg. 12 minutes to go, second half. Perugino, middle of the floor. They have got a back foot. Stewart double-teamed on the block. Goes off his foot into Merlot's hands. Merlot drives, now off to Royster. Royster off the screen, finds his way to the basket. No good. Ball tipped around and out of bounds. They say last touched by Cam Royster, out of bounds.
The referee
check that. No,
he ended up pointing both ways.
He did point both ways. It looked like his last hand went towards Gettysburg, but
sure
no, it is McDaniel ball. Perugino has it right at the basket. And now a legal screen called on Tim Stewart. Gives the ball back to Gettysburg. Team foul number 6, as now Jack Rocket will come in for just the first foul on Stewart, which is a good thing compared to the foul trouble he had to deal with on Saturday against Gettysburg. 34-27, Bullets out in front. Right wing, Pete Christ, near side to Sean Gordon. Gladstone, hard to the basket, left of the paint, gets it to go. Friendly roll, guarded by Rocket. And Gettysburg now at their largest lead of the evening, 36-27 to go.
Gladstone in double digits. He has 11.
Merlot, right wing, middle of the floor, now to Royster. Back to Westbrooks. Westbrooks, screen to his left, pulls up long two, no good. Tanner Kirkpatrick the rebound. Outlet pass to Sean Gordon, works middle of the floor, hard to the basket. We've got a offensive foul down low as holding his spot was Andrew. Even though he gave up the pass, Sean Gordon went right into the chest of number 4 in green. Offensive foul, gives the ball back to McDaniel.
Number 3 on Sean Gordon, so he'll go to the bench for Gettysburg.
Tim Stewart back into the game for the Green Terror. Couple brief minutes on the bench for Stewart. Catches breath, under 11 minutes to play. McDaniel needs to start chipping away at this deficit. They trail by 9. Royster to the elbow. Now they bounce it into Tim Stewart. Off the block. Perugino. Brooks into the corner. Royster. Screen to his left. Royster hard to the basket. Left side layup. No good. Rebound Gladstone. 4-on-2 break here for Gettysburg. Left side layup, no good, but a foul as Alex Kasslander using the right hand. If he had used the left hand, you might be looking at a three-point play here.
You're right. You are certainly right there. For McDaniel, you talk about starting to chip away. If this pair is made a double-digit lead, you have to remember on Saturday, Tim, it was a double-digit lead for Gettysburg the majority of that second half, and then towards the late part of it, as the first one's made there by Kasslander, McDaniel got it down into single digits, trailed by 9, but couldn't creep any closer. Can they at least keep it close here in the high single digits and make a late run like they did on Saturday?
Second free throw, no good. 37-27. The foul just a moment ago was against Andrew Merlot, his first, team 7th. So Gettysburg in the bonus the remainder of the game. Hard to the basket is Cam Royster. He's fouled. And once again, you see Cam Royster, who is a lefty, but if he went right-handed, he might have had a chance for a three-point play and tried to go a reverse layup there. He was fouled, and he'll head to the line for 2.
I'm not sure if Gladstone let him go. I don't know if he would have had enough hang time to get around to the other side of the basket from the angle we're at. But yes, why not go up with the right hand? When you see such a big body, a guy like Gladstone, pretty intimidating coming at you.
Royster misses the first free throw. Royster on the season, not a strong free throw shooter at just 55% as Cameron Stewart comes back in for the Bullets. 10:16 to go, second half. McDaniel trailing by 10. Free throw up and no good. Royster misses both, and the rebound brought in by Tanner Kirkpatrick.
Tim, we know how that goes. First 2 free throws of the game, by the way, for McDaniel.
Cameron Stewart, middle of the floor to Chris, guarded by Wes Brooks. Kasslander, now to Emersabe, right of the lane, picks up his dribble. Under 10 minutes to play. Pete Christ taps his right hand to his chin, calling out the offensive set for Gettysburg with 8 seconds to shoot. Up top, Kirkpatrick pulls a 3. Rattles home. Front by a baker's dozen.
Well, you know, when a guy who hits 27% of his three-pointers is dialing up, not good news for the Green Terror.
Nick Perugino on the left wing. Now to Tim Stewart. Stewart hard to the basket, off some contact, no good. Right of the lane, rebound Cameron Stewart.
At that point, you're just forcing it now if you're Tim Stewart. You still got to run your offense at this point.
Left wing, Chris, cross-court pass to Emersabe. Inside, Kirkpatrick can't finish in front of the rim. Ball knocked out of his hands, goes back up with it, and Merlot comes over and is able to bring it in. Gettysburg wanted a foul. Perugino gets the pass up ahead, brings it back out to Westbrooks. 13-point game. McDaniel down by that margin. Perugino, corner 3, way off. Air ball. Chris the rebound. Outlet pass up ahead to Emersabe. And some sloppy play by both teams here as Chris tried to get it up to Emersabe, running the far side sideline. Out of bounds. Nick Martin now checks in for Westbrooks. Bill Perry will also come in, back for Nick Perugino. 8:47 to go, second half. Tim Stewart will inbound to Andrew Merlot. 8:45 and rolling from Gettysburg. Centennial Conference first round of the playoffs.
Tim, just like Saturday, seeing that 37% clip shooting-wise, the team worst out of this three-game losing streak.
The ball is kicked by Tanner Kirkpatrick. Andrew Merlot trying to drive there. Kevin Gladstone back in. 13-point lead for Gettysburg.
We talked earlier, it's been a season of runs, and you can tell the difference quality-wise when McDaniel is clicking and when they're not.
Corner three, it's good. Count the bucket and the foul. Will that spark McDaniel here? Off the inbounds pass, Andrew Merlot hits the three-pointer, and a chance at a 4-point play for McDaniel.
Well, Merlot, he's been carrying this team today, 13 of the 30. And he make it 14 of the 31.
Free throw up and good. He hits it, makes it a 4-point play, cutting the deficit back to single digits. 8:25 to go. Second half, 40-31. Gettysburg by 9.
This is where you need to make the run. If you're the Green Terror, this is the spot.
And now we get a foul throws, as I believe the foul is on Cam Royster, holding Cameron Stewart. That'll be team foul number 8 against the Green Terror. So Cameron Stewart heads to the free throw line. Stewart, whose numbers are not great this season, however, he's perfect from the free throw line today. 4 for 4 is the Sydney, Australia native. Just 44% on the season. On the way, and this time, the law of averages works out for McDaniel. No good on the 1-and-1, and a big break there for the Green Terrors. A chance to try to continue to chip away, down by 9. Perry brings it down to the side, near side, sideline. Three-pointer air ball, and it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Nick Martin. It was Andrew Merlot, maybe trying to force it a bit. Right wing three, airballed, out of bounds.
Heat test for Merlot there after that 4-point play. How about this for Cam Stewart? He had not attempted 4 free throws in the game all season.
He's got 5 today. Left wing, Stewart skips it over to Emmer Sabed, and another foul on the floor. And this one's going to be on Tim Stewart, and Kevin Gladstone will now head to the free throw line.
Well, this is a guy who you don't want to send there with his 82% success rate this season.
Gladstone on the way, gets it to go. Front rim off the glass and good. 41-31, Bullets in front by 10. Kevin Gladstone, leading scorer for this Gettysburg team, puts up the free throw and nothing but net to make it 42-31.
Pretty much at his average, 13.5 this year. He's at 13 points.
Merlot to Phil Perry. Drives to the basket, puts up a wild shot. Runner in the lane, gets it to go. 42-33. Some full court pressure. Sean Gordon has it and will now cross the timeline.
Yeah, you can see the last 3 minutes or so, the Green Terror early shots in the shot clock.
And now a steal, and we've got a foul. Who's this foul going to be on?
Late whistle. Very late.
It's going to be on Gladstone. It got the brunt of that one. It might have got his face off the arm of Phil Perry on the steal.
He can't believe it.
And Gladstone's called for a foul.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, you can't call a foul on Phil Perry there.
You wonder if they'll call foul on Gladstone. I didn't see him commit a foul.
Perry just grabbed it and ran through. The foul on Gladstone, his third. 7:10 to go. McDaniel down by 9. Perry to Stewart. Outside the paint, near side. Double team comes. Merlot. A little head fake. Bounces to the Stewart. Baseline jumper on the way. Nothing but net. 4 unanswered for the Green Terror. 42-35. Under 7 minutes to play.
Stewart's got 10.
McDaniel 20 points here in the second half. They had 15 in the first. Inside pass to Gladstone. Down low and able to finish. Nice pass from Sean Gordon. Inside to Gladstone, give a head fake and finish strong from the right side.
Gordon, just a little bit of a hint of penetration, 16 feet away, and Tim Stewart stepped out on him for whatever reason, left his man wide open.
Bounce pass far side to Tim Stewart. Under 6.5 to play, 44-35. Gettysburg out in front. Nick Martin, right wing. Merlot, screen to his left, uses it, 10 to shoot. Bounce pass to Stewart, pull up along the baseline, and it's good. And a quick timeout for Coach Curley, 44-37. Back-to-back offensive possessions by the Green Terror, and with a near-side baseline jumper from Tim Stewart. And it's a 7-point game, 44-37.
Well, Tim Stewart's found his lucky spot. Baseline right about 8 feet away, and he's been money a couple of times in his half. He's now got 12 on 50% shooting from the floor. He's 6 of 12 from the field. And you knew as soon as the second half started that they were going to try to feed him. And that's exactly what they've done. Now, Banjo Merlot could make a couple more threes. That would certainly help out. But the Green Terror are at least in it. They're in it on the road in a playoff game, and you have an opportunity to maybe even steal one here.
Alongside Doug Raftery, Tim Murray with you here from Bream Gymnasium on the campus of Gettysburg College. The first round of the Centennial Conference playoffs. McDaniel's women will host the women's tournament coming up on Friday and Saturday. Friday, 6 o'clock, it'll be McDaniel taking on Haverford. And in the nightcap, it will be Muhlenberg and Johns Hopkins on Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. And you can catch all the action on McDanielAthletics.com. On the men's side, it is a 6 o'clock tip-off between the 2 and 3 seeds, Dickinson and Franklin and Marshall. And then the 1 seed, Johns Hopkins, will get the winner of this contest in the nightcap. And the championship game on the men's side will be a 7 o'clock tip from Goldfarb Gymnasium on the campus of Johns Hopkins University. That'll be Saturday night.
I wonder what Hopkins is doing tonight as a player. Be paying attention, I'm sure.
Checking out this game. Might have a coach or two here in the stands. Wouldn't be surprised. Not that long of a trek. It's Gettysburg ball here in the front court. Sean Gordon. Under 6 minutes to play. 7-point lead for the Bullets. Gladstone, step off the block. Zips it past to Cameron Stewart. Gladstone gets it back. Hand off to Chris. Works it near side to Stewart. 5 to shoot. Chris behind the back. Now to Gladstone. Puts up a three-pointer. Top of the arc. No good. Long rebound. And it goes out of bounds. And they say last touched by McDaniel as Tim Stewart and Cam Royster ran into each other. And that's a tough break there. Great defense by McDaniel, forcing Gladstone to put up a three-pointer, but they can't bring in the rebound.
Oh, Coach Curley screaming his head off at one of the referees, Tim, because he wanted a foul. Thought a Gettysburg player just kind of chucked the body out there without any motion for trying to get the ball from going out of bounds, but instead just forcing the Green Terror to be off balance and hit it out of bounds. Tough there.
Tanner Kirkpatrick skips it over to the far side. It's now Sean Gordon. Gordon works middle of the floor. Now to Pete Chris. Chris up top of the arc. Tanner Kirkpatrick works towards the timeline, backtracking a bit. 15 seconds to shoot. Left wing now, Pete Chris. Chris back up top. Three-pointer on the way from Sean Gordon, and he buries it as Wes Brooks fell to the floor. Might have been knocked down by a bullet, and it's a 10-point lead, 47-37.
You know, I'm not sure if it was a setup screen. To be honest, I think it might have just happened, and Brooks tripped over.
10-point lead for Gettysburg. They have led the entire second half. They owned a 4-point lead at the break, and now a foul on Cameron Stewart. Gettysburg largest lead has been 13. The largest lead for McDaniel way back in the first half was 7 when they led 13-6. The foul was on Cameron Stewart, his second, team 7th. So Cam Royster heads to the free throw line. 1-1. Deep knee bend on the way. The lefty can't get it to go. 0 for 3 from the charity stripe for Cam Royster, excuse me.
Well, the Green Terror, the story has been Merlot and Stewart tonight. 11 field goals for those two combined of 24. The rest of the team is 5.
Kirkpatrick left wing. 18 to shoot. Works middle of the floor. Back to the near side to Sean Gordon. Gladstone, hesitation to the right of the paint, now off to Stewart. Drives hard to the basket, left side layup, no good. Royster with the rebound, and if McDaniel hurried, they would have had a 5-on-4 break. and they try to take advantage now, but driving is Phil Perry. His shot is blocked, but they say he was hit with the body, and on the way to the free throw line will be Phil Perry with 4:06 to go. Here in the second half, McDaniel down 10.
Can't leave points on the board.
Phil Perry, not a great free throw shooter either, 57% on the season, but he'll have 2 attempts here.
Well, we've talked all season long about the free throws, Tim.
He makes the first, 47-38. Deficit back down to single digits. Deep knee bend after the spin, and he makes both. And now Coach Curley wants a timeout to talk things over. 4:06 to go, full timeout on the floor. Gettysburg 47 and McDaniel 39.
Well, at this point, you can't afford what happened last trip down defensively, where you smack it out of bounds, unfortunately. No offensive rebounds. You need 1 shot and done. Because you know at this point, the way the offense is run for Gettysburg, they're taking 27 to 30 seconds off of that shot clock, probably every trip down the floor right now with this. So from that point, you're leaving yourself not many possessions offensively to try to get back into this thing. So you need to be efficient on the offensive end, which, of course, has been a challenge today. 16 of 41 from the field for the Green Terror, although that's a better percentage than Gettysburg. And you need to be solid defensively. That hasn't really been the challenge today. It's been the other side of things.
4:06 to go. It's Gettysburg's ball. 47-39 is our score. At least the second half has been a little bit more entertaining, as the first half, as Doug gave us the stat a little bit ago, was the lowest scoring first half, or lowest scoring half in Centennial Conference playoff history. Just 34 total points, 19-15. Gettysburg held that lead at the break. .88 total points is the lowest for a game in the Centennial Conference playoffs. Hopefully we will surpass that.
I think so.
Under 4 minutes to go, Gettysburg ball, and McDaniel comes out in a 2-3 zone now, trying to confuse Gettysburg a bit, because we've seen the matchup work so well for Gettysburg tonight. Christ over to Sean Gordon, 10 to shoot. Back to Pete Christ. Skip pass over to Stewart in the corner.
Tim, I'm not sure I agree with this move. I got to tell you, I think it allows Gettysburg to take more time off the clock.
Three-pointer on the way, left wing, in and out, no good. Ball knocked up and brought down by Wes Brooks. So a three-point attempt by Pete Christ off the mark. 13-20 and rolling. Second half, 8-point lead for Gettysburg. Wes Brooks on the wing, bounces it to Tim Stewart. Back up top, now to Cam Royster near side. Royster in the paint. Down to Merlot. Phil Perry in the corner, 13 to shoot. Perry driving, tough to go! Count the bucket and the foul. Phil Perry driving through contact, finishes, and gets a friendly roll off the iron, 47-41 with 3:04 to go.
How about Perry with 8 points now and starting to get involved within the play late in this second half?
A chance for a three-point play to cut the deficit down to 5. Perry, the senior, at the line. Free throw on the way and nothing but net, 47-42.
How about a guy who you free throws, but 3 of them on the stretch here and trying to pick up at least another game in his last season.
Man-to-man defense returns for McDaniel under 3 minutes to play. Second half, a 5-point game, 47-42. Kirkpatrick to Pete Christ. Gladstone over to far side, Sean Gordon, 12 to shoot. Screen to the left, help came. Now to Kirkpatrick down low. It's Christ, and his shot is blocked by Tim Stewart. Gladstone gets it, though, and turns around in the paint and is able to finish.
Unlucky there for the Greens. That might have been one of their better defensive possessions today when their basket was scored.
49-42. Green Terror down 7. Merlot driving. Phil Perry, 3 from the corner. It's good! Phil Perry, the senior, trying to ignite his team as he buries a huge three-pointer, and it's now 49-45. A full timeout on the floor, and how about Phil Perry? coming through with a wide open three from the near side corner. He nails it, and with 2:14 to go, we've got a ball game on our hands.
We sure do. And how about this, Tim? Phil Perry, 2 of 9 from behind the arc this season. He's not a guy who shoots three-pointers. He'll drive into that lane, and that's how he gets his points. But stepping up big time for this team, Phil Perry with 12.
The senior, we talked about it, the free throws, not a great free throw shooter, steps to the line, hits all 3. Not a great three-point shooter, steps up in need, buries a three-pointer. You like to see that from a guy who just steps up in important times, and that's what he does. And Phil Perry, we'll see if he can continue to carry this team. Now it's up to the defense, something that a Coach Curley team prides itself on doing, strong defense. We'll see if McDaniel can get a critical stop here.
You got to remember, this is the 17th best scoring defense in the nation at the Division III level, the second best in the Centennial. So this is a team that can do it. They can force the turnover. That is what they have done all year long, get some fast break points. But right now, they just need a simple stop, and you'll see them with high pressure all the way up the court off of the inbounds.
Inbounds comes into the hands of Sean Gordon. Gordon in the backcourt, guarded by Westbrooks, crosses the timeline. Near the sideline, now Kevin Gladstone has it just a step or 2 in front of midcourt. Running a bit 4-high offense here. Gladstone has it, 15 to shoot, under 2 minutes to go. Christ, outside the arc, pulls up at the elbow. Gladstone drives baseline, works it near side. Gordon, three-pointer on the way, back rim, no good. Long rebound, Stewart has it, but loses it. As it was knocked away, Stewart had it, and now a steal. Phil Perry into the front court, to the basket, no good. And we're going to get a blocking foul by Cameron Stewart. As a bad decision by a freshman, Stewart started falling down, trying to take a charge. And here we go again. Phil Perry back to the line in a 49-45 game.
Minute 35 to go. And how about on the other end? Gladstone thought he was fouled for sure. Tim Stewart was in there, and then Phil Perry, the one who ends up taking it away and just knocking it out of his hands.
Perry at the free throw line. Deep knee bend up and no good. The senior unable to convert that time. Joe Emersabe back in for Gettysburg. 49-45. 1:35 to go.
This is where you hope the percentage doesn't come into play. It evens itself out.
Perry, deep knee bend on the way. No good, but Tim Stewart with the offensive rebound. Westbrooks thought about a 3. Now slows it up. Under 90 seconds to play. McDaniel with the ball, down by 4. Matchup zone continues here for Gettysburg. Cam Royster splits the defense, works to the far side elbow. Merlot driving down low, and we've got a charge. He's below the charge circle. That's a terrible call. I don't generally get on the refs, but he was clearly below the charge circle.
And when you say below, he was underneath of the twine.
Not even close. Not even close. 1:17 to go. Gettysburg with the ball. Might as well just eliminate it.
Yeah.
Don't implement it if you don't know how to call the right.
That's a tough one to swallow, right?
Get to the front court. Kirkpatrick works it to the near side wing. Bounce pass in. 9.7 seconds to go. A turnover. Gives the ball back to McDaniel.
And Cam Royster better watch himself. Could have been called for taunting there, clapping in the face of Kirkpatrick after the turnover.
So a 4-point game, 49-45. Gettysburg leading by 4. 59.7 seconds to go. Winner advances to the Centennial Conference Saturday night at Johns Hopkins, where they will play Johns Hopkins. Perry, 50 seconds. To Royster in the corner. He needed here for McDaniel. 45 seconds. Royster drives. Bounce. Shoot. Merlot, top of the arc. Over to Cam Royster. 10 seconds to shoot. McDaniel, you got your right wing up. Phil Perry drives the bucket, and the ball is knocked out of his hands into the corner. Three-pointer, front rim no good. Tip up no good. Rebound brought in by Sean Gordon. No urgency.
He had an open look, too, after a blown play by the Green Terror. And at this juncture of the game, Tim, we talk about forcing things all game long. Well, that's when you maybe need to even force something and give yourself an opportunity.
49-45, and that possession couldn't have gone better for Gettysburg as 30 seconds rolled off the clock. Actually, over 30 seconds. About 38 seconds came off the clock. Gordon, double bonus, nothing but net. The senior steps up, makes it 50-45. Gettysburg in front.
Talking about a senior, we talked about Phil Perry. Well, Gordon, 59% from the line this season.
Free throw up and good. 6-point game. And Coach Petrie of Gettysburg will take a 30-second timeout.
That's what seniors do, Tim, right there.
21.9 seconds to go. And McDaniel down by 2 possessions, but they need some threes. And that's something they've done all right tonight. They've hit 5 3-pointers, but they've also worked the ball around the perimeter in order to get those looks. They're going to have to get up a shot quickly on this possession. 51-45, 21.9 seconds to play here in the Centennial Conference first round.
You know, taking a look of after what you'd have to think is going to be a 3-point attempt, I don't think you're at the point anymore, Tim, where you can go twos. I mean, you're deep into this final minute. 21 remaining. I think you need to look for an open 3. And against this matchup zone that has been put in by Gettysburg, there haven't been many clean looks all night from behind the arc early in the shot clock.
Phil Perry gets the into the front court. Goes all the way to the basket, kicks it to Royster. Royster, pump fake, left of the lane, no good. Rebound brought in by Gettysburg. And that should pretty much do it. As if Pete Christ is able to hit one of these 2 free throws, and he is a 82% free throw shooter, he will ice this game with 11.9 seconds to go. Gettysburg looking conference tournament win since, I believe, 2010.
It is. And Tim, you can go back to the beginning of this game when Gettysburg started it.
There it is.
There's the first
free throw, good, 52-45. It's now a 3-possession game.
You know, when they started 3 of 15 from the floor, and they even had the lead at one point, 16-15, when they were shooting worse than 20% from the field.
Makes both, 11.9 to go. Inbound goes to Wes Brooks, gets it off to Phil Perry. Under 10 seconds to go, Phil Perry will go to the basket, loses it out of bounds, and Gettysburg will likely just inbound. McDaniel, you wouldn't imagine what foul here. Gettysburg is going to advance to the Centennial Conference semifinals. Ball comes in. Final seconds tick off, and Gettysburg advances to the Centennial Conference semifinals thanks to a 53-45 win over McDaniel. Gettysburg able to finish the season strong. Their season not over yet, but they have won 4 straight, including 2 straight over the Green Terror, while McDaniel went on the opposite as they end the season losers of 4 straight. And who knows, maybe another game to follow potentially. An ECAC berth is on the line for the Green Terror, but clearly a disappointing way to end the season for McDaniel, losing 53-45.
Yeah, 4 straight losses. Of course, not the way you want to end it. And in the Centennial Conference, you know, especially after last year, Tim, you know, getting the 4 seed, and, you know, whatever, seeds are seeds, but you come, you have to play on the road, you lost on Saturday, you have to come here. But what you want to do as a program, and I'm sure Coach Curley would say this as well, is you want to progress. You don't want to win a conference game one year, you bring back a lot of key players, and then come back the next year, have to play on the road in the playing game, and then not able to advance past the playing game. You don't want to go backwards. Of course, you never want to go backwards, and now you hope you can at least get an ECAC bid. Last year it happened, lost in the first game you played against Newman. You hope you can change those fortunes around. Hopefully there's another opportunity to end the season with at least a win or 2 in ECAC play.
Yeah, McDaniel losing to Newman last year. Previous year prior to that, they lost to Albright, so they've been in ECAC last 2 seasons. So McDaniel season may not be over yet. 14-12, a loss in the Centennial Conference playoffs. For Gettysburg, they move on 15-11 now, and nice win in the Centennial Conference tournament. And they will take on the top-seeded Gettysburg Bullets. So quickly, what you have on Friday night is number 2 seed Dickinson against number 3 seeded Franklin and Marshall. That'll be a 6 o'clock tip. Both teams in the top 25, both teams regionally ranked. And then you have the number 1 seed Johns Hopkins at 8 o'clock against the number 4 seed Gettysburg. So has the makings for a terrific Centennial Conference semifinals and championship this weekend as Gettysburg moves on. And boy, this Gettysburg team playing their best basketball down the stretch, including an emphatic win over Franklin and Marshall last Wednesday night, over winning by 14 over a nationally ranked team.
Yeah, and by the way, you have to give a lot of this credit to Gettysburg. They won this game by shooting 29.5% from the floor. I mean, listen, there's something said about that. They shot 14 to 17 from the free throw line. They hit a few threes when they needed to. They pretty much just, you could say, outlasted McDaniel defensively. I mean, it was as easy as that. You figured it was going to be a tight game, Tim. Ended up being a tight game. But I think McDaniel missed the opportunity early on and to make a statement on the road early when Gettysburg was struggling.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head in the first half. You looked up at the scoreboard and you looked at it and said, McDaniel only up 13-10. Felt like they were in control of the game at that point in time. Really needed to stretch it out, and were unable to do so. And this Gettysburg defense, the matchup zone, like we saw McDaniel struggle with against Johns Hopkins last week, really struggled. Just couldn't ever get comfortable against the Gettysburg defense. So you have to give all the credit to the Bullets. A terrific game plan defensively to slow down McDaniel, and McDaniel just never got comfortable on the offensive side.
Yeah, but how about the comeback attempt at the end with Phil Perry and being a senior leader? Andrew Merlot, obviously a great first half in this game, had a couple of threes, and Timmy Stewart doing what pretty much he's done all year long, 5 of 8 from the floor, although I don't think he got as much room as he probably would have liked. I think the matchup zone had something to do with that, just offensively for the Green Terror. But you have the guys we've mentioned all year long kind of stepping up, and fortunately for a trio of them, Centennial Conference, no more chances there, but an ECAC opportunity.
Once again, your final score, 53-45. Gettysburg victorious over McDaniel. More McDaniel basketball on Friday night as the women will host Haverford in the first game of the Centennial Conference semifinals. A 1-4 matchup there. Then the 2-3 matchup will follow Muhlenberg and Johns Hopkins. Of course, we'll have that game for you here on McDanielAthletics.com. But some final thoughts here as we wrap things up, Doug, of just this season for McDaniel. You talk about some ebbs and flows. We talked about the winning streak they had in early January, 4 straight victories, including what was a very nice win over Gettysburg to wrap up that 4-game winning streak, leading the Bullets at that time by as many as 16, winning that game 59-50. Followed it up with 4 straight losses, and then they responded with 3 straight wins, including a win over then number 9 Dickinson. But a tough way to end the season with 4 straight losses. So certainly had its ups and downs this year, but how about the fact that this McDaniel team beat 2 top 10 teams in the country at the time on their home floor?
Yeah, it's something the guys will never forget. We'll never forget. The coaches will never forget. And, you take those things with a grain of salt sometimes, I think, especially if you're Coach Curley, but I know he was soaking them in when they happened. But for the Green Terror, listen, I'll tell you one great thing that has happened. The defense has continued to be great. Second great thing that happened this year, they had a guy who can take over a game and have a breakout star performance in Tim Stewart. Now, moving forward, I think you need a second guy to kind of align with him, because after Tim Stewart, it's just inconsistent of who's going to be that second guy to help the offense. Obviously, offense is the major challenge right now for the Green Terror. Can that be something that's fixed looking forward?
And Tim Stewart, of course, will be back next year for the seniors. Andrew Merlot, Phil Perry, and Nick Martin. You hope that they have 1 more, maybe 2 more, who knows, maybe 3 more games left in their collegiate career with the potential ECAC berth on the line. But for those 3 seniors, another berth in the Centennial Conference playoffs. And, talking to Coach Curley just last week, he said their number 1 goal entering every single season is to make the playoffs. And, yes, they would have liked to advance on like they did last year, moving into the semifinals where they eventually lost to Dickinson, a team that went on to the Elite Eight, but still, mission accomplished. Their number one goal, make the playoffs. And when you take a step back, McDaniel accomplished their number one goal, did make the Centennial Conference playoffs this year.
Listen, it's tough to make the playoffs, all right? It's not an easy thing, let alone to win in the playoffs. You have 10 teams in the conference. 5 of them make the Centennial Conference playoffs. Listen, I played soccer. We had 9 teams in our conference. Top 5 made the playoffs. I never made the playoffs. So it's not an easy thing to do. So just to do that is simply an experience that these guys won't forget. It's just different competitive nature when you get into the playoffs, or so I hear.
For McDaniel in the playoffs, and hopefully another ECAC berth will follow for the Green Terror. They've been to the ECACs the past 2 seasons, and they hope to return for a 3rd consecutive year. Doug, it's been a lot of fun calling these games this year. Unfortunately, we're ending a bit on a sour note as a tough loss for McDaniel tonight, falling 53-45.
Yeah, it's been great as always. You know it. Year 2, and hopefully some ECAC action to follow. Who knows? You never know where you end up when it comes to that.
Yeah, and of course, stick to McDanielAthletics.com or follow them on Twitter at McDaniel Athletics to get the latest updates for McDaniel men and women's basketball. A lot on the line for the women's squad, who is 23-2, number 4 in the region, and conference tournament win, of course, means an NCAA tournament berth for the first time since 2010. So this McDaniel team trying to return to the big dance since 2010, and the number 1 seed, just 2 conference losses. It's going to be a battle, no doubt about it. Haverford has given them a test on the women's side both times. McDaniel needed a strong comeback effort, but they did win both times. The Fords and Terror met up this season.
Yeah, last time it was a 3-point game at the Gill Center, and that's where, of course, it'll be again on Friday night. The key in the game, 2 key players, Lindsey Nichols for the Green Terror. Offensive performance night. Ended up 6 of 18 from the field. A lot of that came late in the comeback win, but Elizabeth Lynch, one of the top players in the conference, was 3 of 23 from the floor in that game. So are they going to be able to stop her again? Listen, I said on Monday, video conference chat, they want Gettysburg to win that 4-5 game. It's going to be a tough one with Haverford. A couple people won't be surprised if that upset occurs, but the Green Terror, I think they are the pick to win the Centennial Conference tournament overall.
Yeah, Haverford squeaked past Gettysburg last night to move on to the semifinals. So once again, we'll have full coverage from the Gill Center starting at 5:45 on Friday night. We'll have both games for you live with video, of course, on McDanielAthletics.com. The championship game will be at 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. So if you're a big fan of Centennial Conference basketball, you'll have both championships, not at the same time. You'll actually have a bit of a doubleheader there at McDaniel and at Johns Hopkins. Interesting that you have 10 teams in the conference, 7 are in Pennsylvania, but the champion will be crowned on both sides in the state of Maryland on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And before I forget, Tim, a real quick thank you to Coach Curley this season for taking out the time, especially at home and even on the road, to talk with us and doing the live video interviews. Great as always, and helping us out here on the broadcast.
Yeah, for Luke Stilson, all the efforts that he had all season, the SID here at McDaniel College. But that's going to do it. Hopefully we have another men's game to call. We'll keep you posted. An ECAC berth will be announced, I believe, on Monday evening after the field of 61 is determined for the NCAA tournament. But for my broadcast partner tonight in Doug Raftery, I'm Tim Murray, bidding you farewell from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. A sad note as Gettysburg advances on to the semifinals of the Centennial Conference playoffs, a 53-45 win over the Green Terror. Once again, your final score, 53-45, Gettysburg over McDaniel. Have a great night, everyone.